Hey guys, welcome back. A few weeks ago, I uploaded a video about why I was excited for Halo Infinite after getting invited to 343, and that video kind of blew up, and it attracted a lot of people that, let's say, misconstrued my views on Halo and its current and future state. Ever since Infinite's announcement, I've made my views on it very, very clear. I'm cautiously optimistic. Now, that video covered my optimism, and in this video, I want to cover my cautiousness, and why, despite everything, this game still worries me. Real quick, I'm happy to announce that my merch is now officially available. If you look below the video, you should see the designs right there ready to buy. I designed them myself, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty damn happy with how they turned out, honestly. So if you want to rep ICONIC out there in the world, then pick up a shirt or a hoodie today. Alrighty, so now that little sales pitch is over, I want to start off with a worry that isn't exactly anything bad per se. It's more an area of massive potential that I'm worried that 343 could miss, and that is post-release lore. Now, I feel like over the past few years, us guys on YouTube have proven that Halo's lore, both deep and shallow, still has a massive following despite the state of the rest of the game, and that people are still super into it, even during this massive dry period. With that in mind, it'd almost be a shame if the only type of lore content that we got in Infinite was just a regular campaign. Campaigns are very much a short-term lore dump, if you get me. So you play through a campaign, you find the terminals, and pretty much that's it for lore until the next game in like 3 years' time. Yeah, there's books and comics and stuff, but rarely, if ever, do they have any impact on the main story because, I mean, the percentage of Halo fans that read them is so low that it'd almost be counterintuitive for them to. So instead of just having the campaign, I feel like lore fans deserve something more than that. A mode that's dedicated to expanding Halo's lore and exploring parts of it that are maybe a little bit too complicated for the main story, but have the potential to create some really great offshooting stories. If Halo Infinite is set on Installation 07, like it's sure as shit looking like it is right now, the amount of deep lore that links back to the Foreigners, the Precursors, Ancient Humans, and the Flood on that ring is honestly insane. Like, some of these deeper aspects of the lore would be such a big shame to just ignore if the game is set on Zeta Halo, and a game mode that is dedicated to fleshing out this type of lore would be honestly perfect. I feel like Spartan Ops kind of tried this a little bit. The ideas were definitely there, it's just the execution was not so great. Now, I've said this for years and I will continue to say it, Call of Duty Zombies has forever been the king when it comes to this type of thing. More than ever over recent years, the game mode has become incredibly lore and story focused, and the way that it tells its stories is, quite frankly, nothing short of genius. Now, given Installation 07's long history with the Flood, maybe a sort of lore-focused horde mode or something like that, where you have to find these ancient relics in the map to learn the history of the ring, or something on par with that would work, or maybe it could be something more linear, almost like a mini campaign that leads to you discovering the secrets of this mysterious Halo. If you have any ideas for this, then definitely leave them in the comments. Now, I know one thing that people will definitely talk about relating to this is campaign DLC, and it's something that I would definitely support, and it's an idea that 343 have definitely floated in the past few years with Halo Wars 2. So honestly, I'd be down for that. Despite some of the quite glaring issues with campaign DLC, I would support that. But basically my worry is that 343 will miss a huge opportunity to keep lore fans engaged over time, and also open up a new area of content creation that could honestly be really fucking popular if you look at how well Halo lore still does on YouTube, especially if the Flood are involved. I mean, they haven't been in a main game now for 11 years, and yet still, they have a huge fan base that wants to see them back. It'll honestly hurt so much to me if 343 don't jump on both of these opportunities with Infinite, because, in my opinion, they could be pretty damn lucrative for both the fans and also 343. Okay, so moving over to my next worry, and this is something that's going to affect the community and also the game. It's a more immediate worry, and that is the release date. Now, so far, we don't even have a ballpark release date for Infinite. They've not even said, like, fall 2019 or something. We have genuinely nothing. We have no clue whatsoever when this thing is coming out, and given how fucking dry Halo is right now in terms of content, that's not a good thing. These super long periods without any form of content really do hurt the community, and it drives people away, which quite obviously is not a good thing. Granted, most people will come back when more news about Infinite starts to trickle out, but them leaving and getting temporarily bored of Halo causes a sort of knock-on effect to another really important aspect of a game: its community and also its popularity: content creators. Now, clearly, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not biased when it comes to this, because I definitely am, but it still doesn't detract from the fact that periods of little to no content, especially ones this long, hurt content creators too, which is like the polar opposite of what you want to be doing in the modern gaming age. Content creators nowadays are one of, if not the main driving force behind games. They provide advertising for a game for like tens of millions of people for free. It honestly doesn't matter if your game is a bad, broken, clunky mess. If you have big YouTubers and big streamers playing it every day, then it's almost guaranteed to be a hit. Just look at H1Z1 and PUBG. Those two games were two of the clunkiest messes that I think I've ever played, and both were exceptionally popular because of streamers. It's almost impossible for like any new blood to come into the Halo YouTube scene right now, because honestly there's just nothing fresh to make content about, and Halo's streaming is in an even worse situation. Existing YouTubers and streamers have very little to make content about that hasn't already been done or discussed, and my worry is that Infinite won't end up coming out until like 2020, with nothing in between now and then, which is only going to make this problem infinitely worse, pardon the pun. Games like Fortnite are so fucking popular because there's always something new to make content about. I mean, hell, if it wasn't for streamers, Fortnite probably wouldn't even be around right now. I know firsthand that 343 definitely know how important it is to keep their community and also their content creators happy and satiated. I just hope that they have more plans for us between now and when Infinite comes out, especially if it isn't releasing until 2020, because my god, that is going to be a long dry spell. And my final worry, for this video at least, is the elephant in the room, the worry that everybody has for practically any AAA franchise nowadays: microtransactions. Now, it's not all doom and gloom. A while ago, one of my tweets ended up doing the rounds in gaming media because Chris Lee, the studio head for Halo Infinite at 343, replied to it clarifying our worries about Infinite's micros. Basically, he said that Infinite won't include any real money loot boxes, which sounds great, right? And yeah, it kind of is, but the wording is awfully specific, and it causes the pessimist in me to worry why it's so specific. Just because a game doesn't let you outright buy loot boxes doesn't mean that it won't both A, include them, and B, allow you to buy them indirectly. Just take Rainbow Six Siege for example. You can't physically buy alpha packs, but what you can do is buy the premium currency, Renown, with real life money, and then use that Renown to buy the alpha packs. That, or you can spend hours on end grinding just to get one pack without paying. Now, I'm worried that this is exactly what Infinite's microtransactions are going to be like. I'm also worried about what the microtransactions are going to give you. The big thing now is to lock all cosmetics behind either microtransactions or artificially extended grinds that encourage you to buy microtransactions. This is the case in Halo 5, in Fortnite, in Siege, in PUBG, in Black Ops 4, and many other games. Right now, gameplay-altering microtransactions are way too dangerous for devs to implement because the potential backlash they cause can cause significant damage, like just look at Battlefront 2. But at the same time, they still have to satisfy their investors' lootbox-fueled overinflated needs with some sort of microtransaction. Now, given how long Infinite is going to have been in development by the time it comes out, Microsoft's return on investment is going to be even higher than ever before. And so I'm really worried that we'll end up getting a super cool looking art style with tons of cool looking armors, and maybe even armor for Elite too, but end up having to unlock literally everything through microtransactions or a battle pass type system. One of Halo's biggest selling points is how deep its customization is and how badass you can make your Spartan or your Elite look. Ever since microtransactions made their way into Halo with Halo 5, however, this has been significantly watered down, to the point where there's less customization in Halo 5 than there was in Halo 3, which is frankly ridiculous. I'm really worried that 343 are going to be almost forced into monetizing the entire customization system, because they can't do game-altering monetization at the risk of a very valid backlash, and they're going to have to make even more revenue than usual because of the game's extended development cycle. I don't know, man. Let's just say that none of those factors add up to anything consumer-friendly. So, they are 3 of my biggest worries for Halo Infinite, and why I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm still really excited for this game, don't get me wrong, but my days of being a blind Halo fanboy are long over. An honourable mention for this list is the gameplay. I'm still really worried that Halo Infinite is going to be another enhanced mobility Halo game, but quite frankly, I honestly don't have the mental energy anymore to talk about this. I've made my stance and my supporting evidence for said stance abundantly clear over the past few years, and honestly, I'm done talking about it, until at least we see some gameplay. Alrighty, they are my worries for Halo Infinite. I hope you guys enjoyed my constructive ranting. Like I said, I'm still very much cautiously optimistic. I'd love to hear any of your thoughts or worries or fears that you have for the game down below in the comments as well, so definitely leave them down there. Thank you so much to everybody supporting me over on Patreon. The huge support recently has honestly blown me away, so thank you so much. Ardent, Tomahawk, Momo, Shikata, Mjolnir, Matthew, Pierre, Toni, Jim, Theo, Michael, Resnek, Fish, Joshua, Jack Madden, Eric Brown, Sam Grafton, Bruin98, Hayden Woods, Matthew Brown, Gareth Davies, Renegade Ginger, fwimmygoat, SargentSwords, and Zach YoungWood. That is a lot of people. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting. I really, really do appreciate it. And I'll catch you in the next one.